Oh, yeah. Okay, welcome everybody to our first monthly Witty Florida Lunch and Learn. Of course, with Zoom and a lot of our applications now, all the walls break down. So Witty Tampa Bay is hosting this, and everybody's welcome. I'm David Layton, CEO and co-founder of Witty, based out here in California. Um, We're excited to have this as one of the events we'll have once a month. We have many different events that we do throughout that are weeklies. We have monthlies that are broken down by geography or skill set or industry. If you're interested in creating more of those, let us know. You'll be hearing more about our AI training and certification programs towards the end of the month, as well as other learning journeys that we have to make sure all of our members and community is getting information they need and upskilled and everything else. So more on that later. Marianne, I'm going to shoot it over to you.
Great. Thank you, David. So hi, everyone. My name is Mary Ann Kirkland. I am the Global Director of Networks for Witty. Just before we start, I don't know if a lot of you knew the name and the name change that happened. So Witty used to be Women in Technology International. We switched over to Workforce Innovation, Trust and Influence. And this is more just to be inclusive and have more people that can join, not leaving all the guys behind. So welcome, everybody. We're very happy to have you here. And I have the greatest honor to tell you about who's joining us today as a main speaker. Her name is Veronica Lane. I met Veronica at a Witty event, believe it or not, maybe a few years ago. And she is one of those people who just the energy she brings is contagious. She smiles, the whole room smiles. It's just a known fact about her. And you can't not smile when you look at her. And she has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to project management. She is currently, and Veronica, if I say this incorrectly, please correct me, but she is currently the Director of Training at Veronica Lane Consulting. And I know that she does a whole bunch of other things. She's very, very active in the Florida, specifically Tampa Bay, networking groups, and she always brings just a wealth of knowledge that we are just super excited to have her speak with us today. And so with that, I am going to hand it over to her. I'm sure she has a lot better introduction than what I've done, and she can tell us a little bit about herself and then start the discussion for today.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I'm super excited that I get to be here. I like to start things off telling you that this is what I get to do. This isn't what I have to do. Having to do something and getting to do something aren't the same thing. So if you remember when you were younger, I'll just say younger, I'm not going to put any ages to it. But when you were younger and you got to wash dishes, do you remember when you got to wash dishes? This is something that I get to do. I am going to get the chair. I'm going to pull the chair over. I'm going to be a tall person right now because I'm a little person. So I get to do this. Do you remember when it changed to have to? It usually takes place when somebody else asks you to do it. You're doing the exact same activity. Life hasn't changed, except for the fact that the emphasis isn't coming from inside of you, it's coming from outside of you. Someone else is asking me to do this. And because someone else asked me to do this, I don't know if this is something that I really want to be doing. I'm not sure if I'm ready to give my best. And no one else knows what your best looks like except for you. So I want to tell you that this is what I get to do. Being in front of you, sharing with you as much information as I possibly can. This is what I get to do. Leaning into the get to, I want you to feel as though you get to be here. I want you to not just have vocabulary. I want you to actually have things that you're able to use. I want to make sure that I'm using this time wisely. And this may have happened to all of you. And please let me know if this is something that takes place with you too. I get messages on LinkedIn all the time. And the messages that I get on LinkedIn, they say things like, Veronica, can I please pick your brain? And I say, no, that's absolutely disgusting. You cannot do that. I am not going to allow you to do that. But if you want to log into a class, you can ask me as many questions as you want to. So the fact that all of you are here, you have access to me that I do not allow other people to have. Please use the chat. I will be taking a look at chat. Ask me anything you want. I will spill all of the beans. That's my happy place to be able to do that. I also want to make sure that you have access to the other functionality. So if you take a look at your toolbar, you should see a reactions box. If you click on reactions, you'll get emoticons there. Can you please all give me a thumbs up? I just want to make sure that it shows up in the picture window and it's not showing up in the chat because that's a different place for it. Okay, excellent, excellent. And what I also want to do is let you know that although we are virtual, and I know that there are a couple of you that do not have access to a camera, if you do have access to a camera, and if it doesn't freak you out by turning it on, I would love to be able to see faces, and I'm confident that the other people that are here would love to see who we are sharing time with. And it also makes me feel as though I'm not just talking to my little white dot, because we all know what that feels like. So I thank you so much. If you were to be able to come on camera, if you can't, or if it freaks you out, don't do it. I do not want to take away any of the experience that you're going to be having with us today. So this is managing strong personalities. And I'm focusing in more on the tech space today. Are strong personalities everywhere? Absolutely. You might be able to tell that I may be one of those. Please give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down just from the little piece that you have been able to learn about me so far. Do you think that I'm probably one of the stronger personalities? Not the strongest, I'm not saying that, but definitely one of the stronger personalities. I'm a driver type A personality. True story. I will also say that I'm more like an M&M. I have a hard candy shell, chocolatey goodness on the inside, but I am going to let you know when I allow you to come in. Can you imagine me being a part of your project team? How are you going to lead me? A strong personality. I'm not saying that I think that I know everything, but I know a couple of things. And because I know a couple of things, I am going to be basing it off of what I think you know. I'm not saying it's right, but I am saying that it does take place. And because it does, I want you to learn a little bit more about me. So I am a project management professional. I am an Agile certified practitioner. I am certified in Six Sigma. I have written books on the topic of project management. I am also one of the keynote speakers for the Project Management Institute. This is my happy place. This is what I get to do. If I were to tell you that I've been doing this for over 30 years, I think you would believe me, especially if I were to lean in and show you some of the sparkles that I've accumulated along the way. I'm not saying that my sparkles came from my projects. I am not saying that my sparkles did not come from my projects. See, we're always building professional brands. You have a professional brand. All of the conversations that people have when you're not present are because of everything that you've done every single day. You are always teaching people how to treat you every single day. And your team is the exact same way. The other technical staff that you work with is the exact same way. So how are we going to bring the best out of the people who we work with if we have a tendency to avoid those harder conversations? What if we have someone that is a part of our project management term here? Red apples, bad apples. Please give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Have you heard of that? Red apples and bad apples? If you haven't, that's how we speak to and speak about those harder personalities that are part of our project teams. Red apples and bad apples. I have been known to also call them my moles, just saying. They have a tendency to talk about things with each other that aren't a part of our topic for today. Why is that? Why does that happen? How can I make sure that I'm bringing excellence out of everyone who I work with? Projects are temporary and unique endeavors. Temporary and unique. They're not your BAU. They're not business as usual types of things. And we also have people that are well-versed in the agile side of the world and people who are well-versed in the waterfall side of the world. We have subject matter experts. We have skill sets that maybe we don't possess, but someone else does. And I need to make sure that I have the right people as a part of this project team. And because I'm looking for the right people and they're usually self-organizing teams, I need to make sure that they're strong personalities. I want them to be able to share and talk about the experiences that they've had, because being able to do that, now I know that my team is going to be going in the right trajectory. That's what I want them to do. So today, we're going to talk about some of those harder personalities. We are going to talk about what this looks like, not only for you, but also for the people that are a part of your project teams. We're going to first start off with the introduction to managing strong personalities. We're going to talk about what that definition is and the importance of effective management for your project success. We are then going to talk about understanding the different personality types within our tech teams, the overview of the common personality types in tech professionals, as well as the impact of personality differences on team dynamics. We'll also talk about the strategies for managing these strong personalities like myself. How can we create boundaries and still empower them to want to share, to want to be a part of this conversation? How can we leverage their strengths while not bringing anyone else down, right? Because we have different types of people that are a part of our project teams. Maybe there are games that we are going to play. Maybe there are going to be meetings that we are going to have. Maybe we are going to say, I think you made so-and-so feel bad today. When you do these types of things, even though I know that you feel so, you're just showing up and doing great things, is bringing other people down. Can you have those harder conversations so that they know that you want to hear from them? You also need to make sure that you're building everyone else up. I'm going to share something with you. As a leader of a project, or even as a subject matter expert on someone else's project team, what we do is we create the environment for excellence to take place. That's what we do. If you all were a part of my project, I promise you, you all will see me and understand me differently, because I'm going to show up for you differently. What you need in order to be great is not going to be the same thing as what someone else needs to be great. So when you think about these strong personalities, you also want to make sure that you're not trying to dull down the people that are a part of your project team. You need them to want to shine. If you've ever been on any teams where someone showed up one way and then a couple of weeks in, they were different, please show me a reaction. Have you ever had to deal with that? Have you seen that happen where when they first came in, they were 2 feet in? Now that they're here for a while, something transpired. And sometimes when those things happen, you weren't even versed in it. You didn't even know that it took place. And they're not showing up in the exact same way. As the leader, you want to be able to identify that and then be able to do something about it. Leverage their strong personalities. You want them. You just want them to also bring excellence out of everyone else who they work with. Type into the chat for me, please. What percentage of time do we spend communicating? What do you think that would be? Please type that into the chat. what is the percentage of time that we spend communicating? I adore this so much. Yes. Y'all make me feel like I'm talking to my people. I'm talking to my people. 90% of the time we spend communicating, 90%. So if we're spending 90% of our time communicating, how effective is it? Are we having meetings about meetings? Do we have people who are having conversations and you didn't even know that the conversation took place? There are communication channels. And sometimes we have so many that we're not quite sure what needs to go where. How can we be active and make sure that we have a communication plan that is going to assist everybody and not just certain persons that are part of our project teams? And what if we have people that don't want to use the tools that we provide? Please show me a reaction. Have you ever, kind of like what the kids say, have you ever had times where you are giving them everything that they need in order to be successful and they refuse to use it? I'm not doing it. I would much rather just go and have a conversation with you. I'm going to do that instead. So when that happens, we want to wrangle them back in. This is what we are going to do. At the beginning, and actually, you know what? Since I'm talking to my people, tell me this. Have you heard of this? Projects don't fail at the end, they fail in the beginning. Please show me a reaction. Have you heard of that? Since I'm talking to my people and all, projects don't fail at the end, they fail in the beginning. So if that is the case, what environment did you create in the beginning? Did you plant your flag in the beginning? Did you say that this is my project? I'm running this. I am the thumb to the hand. I am not saying that the other fingers don't matter. It's just that I'm the one holding it together. Okay. I have to make sure that I'm bringing excellence out of everyone. Being able to communicate with them, that's how I do it. And everything isn't going to be perfect. It's just not, right? That's one of the reasons why we love projects so much as I project onto you. That's why we love projects so much, because things are always changing. Things are different, and conflict is a part of that. Where's the conflict coming from? What are the sources? If we were to implement effective conflict resolution techniques, what would that look like for you? Because it might look different for me. And what are your roles? Disputes are going to happen. When are you supposed to step in? And when it is time for you to step in, are you saying to yourself, these are adults adulting? Just saying, these are adults adulting. Should I actually step in? You know, is this something that they need to figure out how to navigate? I want to remind you that this is your project. So I have questions for you. I want to know, are you one of these strong personalities? Just saying. Just saying. Are you one of the people making it a little bit challenging for the others? Take a look at what you see in front of you right now. Are you not afraid to speak up? Do you challenge the status quo? Do you exude? Because I love that word. It's fun to say, almost as much as I love the word plethora. Okay. Not exactly, but really close. Do you exude confidence in their abilities and decisions? Is that you? Do you do that? So I want to know. If you take a look up towards the top of your screen, on some of the versions, next to where it says that you are viewing Witty's screen, there might be 3 dots next to it. For others, it might say view options. If it has 3 dots, please click them. If it says view options, please click that. And it should provide you with a drop down. I'm going to take a look at faces to see if you see a drop down right now. Okay. I believe the second from the bottom, you should see the word annotate, please look for that word. If you see it, please choose it. David's going rogue. David's going rogue. Okay. What I would love for you to do, please, is take a look for that check mark. And that check mark should say stamp next to it. Please click on stamp and you'll get options there. Things like a heart, a star, an arrow, a question mark. What I would like for you to do is choose one. And then I would like for you to put a stamp next to the personality characteristics that you believe you exude. Please put a stamp next to the personality characteristic that you believe you exude. I'm going to give you a few more moments. I'm going to acknowledge that I don't see any that don't have an item next to it. What is that saying about us? Just saying. What is that saying about us? We get to do this. We're living in our greatness. What if I were to also say to you that you do hard things well? That even though a lot of times it might feel as though you were voluntold to do something, your professional brand is what causes people to believe that this is something that you are able to do and they want you to do it. You're able to lead strong personalities because you can identify it. You see it in yourself. You see it in yourself. Okay. You can identify it. You can bring greatness out of them. You can either inspire or you can motivate because of what you see. I need, and I'm going to use that word, I need strong personalities on the type of projects that I manage. I have to make sure that people aren't going to fold. We have different management styles also. What if you're autocratic? I have control and I'm keeping it. Here is the list of things that I need for you to do. Go do that. You don't have any questions for me because I already gave you a list. Autocratic. Are you democratic? You have control, but you don't mind sharing it. I need to make sure that I'm brainstorming with the individuals that are part of this team. I don't want to know everything. I know all of you have heard of RACI, right? RACI, either I'm responsible, accountable, consulted, informed. If I'm managing a project, I am not the R. Someone else is the R. But what if this is something that my strong personality says, I'm so used to doing this. I can't do it though. Since I can't do it, how close can I get to it? Micromanaging. We don't intentionally micromanage. We're just like, you know what? I know so much about it. I'm so confident about everything that I've accumulated along the way. I think I'm just helping. Am I bringing somebody down because I'm doing that? I feel great. But what if they don't feel great? Am I able to see it? Am I able to acknowledge it? One of the things that Marianne said when we at first started today was she had spoken about my smile. She said, my smile's contagious. I'm bringing other people in. I'm spilling the beans. I have an RBF. Do you know what I'm talking about? I have an RBF. It's intense. Ever since I was little, I'm going to say 3 or 4, I have an older sister, and my older sister would say to my mother, look at Ronnie. She looks so evil. And I said to myself, I don't even know what I look like. I'm looking outside of my body. I'm not looking in. I don't know what my facial expressions are doing. I have no idea. So I learned over time that if I'm not intentional about this face, I'm shutting people down. I've had people that didn't want to be a part of my project team. And then they were on my team. And now, because they know that I'm good people, now they know, they're actually saying to me, I didn't want to be on your team, Veronica. I'm like, oh my gosh, I clutched my pearls. What are you saying? Why wouldn't you want to be a part of my team? Well, because you always look so mean. You look mean all the time. True story, Wayne. True story. Our personalities manifest. Everyone can see it, even if you don't think everyone can see it. You are an energy giver when you manage projects. You're not an energy taker. You're a giver. So when you're creating that space, the very first thing that you want to do is find out what you are. It begins with you. Now that you know, right? So that's the emotional intelligence side of things, you know, and you. The emotional quotient side is now that you know, what are you going to do about it? Am I bringing excellence out of the people who I work with? Because I can't micromanage them. I want them to use their tacit knowledge, everything that they have been learned all along the way. Do they feel comfortable using it? Am I creating an environment where they feel comfortable using it? Am I this humongous RBF that people don't feel comfortable doing this? Do I have other people that are part of my project team that are such strong personalities that no one else is showing up except for that person? I'm not saying that they're not physically present, but what if they don't feel comfortable talking? Do we need to fix that? Okay. So for those of you that have used your stamps, please X out of that toolbar. What other terms of RACI? RACI, R-A-C-I, is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. So when we take on projects, even when your team takes on projects, there's this notion, there's this internal push that we are the R, we're the ones doing the widget, and we're not. We are usually the A. We just have to make sure that it gets done. We're accountable for it. Okay. Is my personality one where I can let them be the R? Can I do it? Am I taking over when I'm not supposed to be taking over? I have to figure out how to manage things. What does management look like for me? How can I be effective? Because my focus is the mission. I am not the R. You also asked about RBF. I'm just going to say a couple of, just a couple. I'm not going to say all of them. Just a couple of the letters. I'm going to do the first and the last. Resting face. Whatever you want it to be, whatever you want the B to be, I'm going to let you do that. Wayne will tell you. Wayne will tell you. I'm not saying it. Our focus in the beginning is to make sure that we're creating the environment for excellence to take place. Are we doing that? Do we have frameworks that we can use? Do we play games? Actually, please give me a reaction. Do you play games when you manage projects? Please let me know. Do you play games? see a couple of reactions there. Marianne's like, excuse you, I'm working. I'm working, not playing games. Okay, but how else am I? Let's just say that I'm new to this project and I'm new to the individuals that are a part of this project team. How am I supposed to know who I'm working with? What am I creating? Maybe they don't want to be on my project. Quiet part out loud. Maybe they don't want to be on it. Maybe they were voluntold to be on it. I need to know that. Maybe there's a strong personality and they don't think that I should be managing this. Yeah, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. They don't even think that I should be doing it. I need to know. There's a game. I'm going to tell you what this game is. The game is explorers, shoppers, vacationers, and prisoners. Please give me a thumbs up. Have you heard of this game? Explorers, shoppers, vacationers, and prisoners. I need to know who I'm working with. So if they are explorers, they're eager to discover new ideas and insights, and they want to learn everything that they can about this particular project. I need to know. Are they shoppers? They're going to look over the available information, things that we're currently doing. And if I can walk away with at least one new thing, then I'm going to say that this was time well spent. Are they vacationers? They aren't interested in this work, but at least I'm not at my desk. I might come in early and help you set up. Or am I a prisoner? They feel as though they have been forced to attend. They don't want to be here. I need to know, because if I understand the dynamics of the people that are a part of my team, then I can create the system. I can create that team charter. I can walk them through it. I can say that these are the personality types. This is how you're able to work with these individuals so that we lean into continuous improvements. It's okay to have those harder conversations. Challenges are my happy place. I want to fix things. That's why I do what I do. Projects are temporary and unique. Once we're finished with this, we're going to roll something out. You assign the game task to a direct report, not your strength. Understood, Laura? Lean into your excellence. Lean in, okay? Because we always want to be better. So what are these different personality types? What should we be looking for? And then when we find them, what should we do? One of those types is an innovator. They're visionaries. They're visionaries, okay? I also like to call them my creatives. I want to lean into all the possibilities. Now, I'm just saying, when you're leaning into the possibilities, and if they have fun talking about all the ways that we could do this thing, eventually I need an executor. I think we've talked about all the ways that we could do it long enough. Which one are we choosing? Okay. They are going to lean into what our next steps are. Now that we've thought about all of the possibilities, what should we be doing? See, we're all communicating differently. What if that executor shut down the innovator? What are we missing now? What do we not know now? Because they weren't allowed to live in their fullness. You, as the leader, you are going to guide this interaction. If you see someone being a little bit quieter, you want them to be able to speak greatly about all the things that they know. Are you the analyst? Are you able to see other analysts on your project team? And if you see them, are you giving them space to take the knowledge that they have, transform it into something that makes sense, and then articulate that to the rest of the team? Are you giving them space to do that? And then we have our communicators. Sometimes these are the ones that are able to say one sentence in 14 sentences. Please give me a reaction. Have you ever worked with someone who loves communicating just a little bit more than we need them to. Okay. It's important for us to be able to navigate this conversation. And it's okay when this happens, lean into their excellence. We have differences too. Okay. If I know that I have those that communicate a lot, absolutely, David, if they communicate a lot and they love it, they are more of our extroverts, right? I get things out of the conversations. Are the introverts exhausted? If they are we able to speak to that? Can we create space for them? Does everyone know what the roles are? I have been on so many, actually, not even projects. Let's say that someone called a meeting. Have you ever been on a meeting and it was silent in the beginning? And you're trying to figure out, should I talk? Are they going to talk? Who's leading this? I didn't even set this meeting up. And you can't let the silence go. And then you lean into your excellence. Guess what? They already knew that you were going to do that. You teach people how to treat you every day, all day. Okay. When conflicts come up, are you able to put your nouns and your verbs closer together? It isn't that the fence was painted by Bob. Sometimes I just have to say Bob painted the fence. When I say it, am I bringing someone down? Am I bringing somebody up? And how can I make sure that those individuals who lean into their excellence, and that may be a little bit more talkative, am I creating space for them? I need to make sure that I do that. That's good times. That's good times. Okay. So what I want you to do is be able to think about the different people that are a part of your project teams. How can you handle these different personality types? The very first thing that you want to do is establish those clear roles in the beginning. As I mentioned, projects don't fail at the end, they fail in the beginning. Does everybody know what they're supposed to be doing? Encourage open communication. Give them space. Sometimes we even call this having a meeting that is called organized disagreement. I want to lean into what everyone has to say. I want to know what everyone has to say. Okay. Focus in on collaboration and compromise. Just because I said it doesn't mean that this is what we need to be doing. I want to hear from everybody else. Okay. And I also want to make sure that I support them, because speaking up in front of strong personalities is hard sometimes, especially if they feel as though they are being shut down. Okay. I want you to have the opportunity to actually think about what type of personalities do you have on your current projects? What does that look like? So I'm going to open up a breakout room or 2 or 3 or 4. And I want you to talk about the different types of challenges that you might have faced, how you resolved those. Like I said, projects don't fail at the end, they fail in the beginning. So you're going to get a pop-up on your screen in a moment. Please click on that pop-up. Your microphones and your cameras are going to be turned off. Please turn them on when you go into the room so that they can see and or hear you. And I'm only going to give you 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And then we're going to come back to the main room and socialize what some of your findings are. Okay. I highly recommend identifying who you want your speaker to be, or it'll be that quiet, awkward moment that we just talked about. Okay. So I'm going to open up those rooms for you right now. When the last person goes in, that's when I'm going to start my timer. I'll see you all in a couple of minutes. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back.
Woohoo!
We have room number one. Where are my breakouts? We have room number one. And you disappeared from me. Let's see.
Yeah.
I just have to lodge a formal complaint that
Uh-oh.
that was, or at least it did not feel like 3 minutes. I think we get shortchanged. I feel ripped off.
It was 3 minutes, I promise.
Get you a refund later.
Liar, pants on fire.
Well, room number one, we had Laura and Margarita, Marianne, and Wayne. Who was our spokesperson? What were your findings?
So I'm going to be the spokesperson.
Okay.
And we had it was good because I think we each shared something different. We didn't all have the same answer, which I loved. Wayne, his way of dealing with strong personalities was having a game on Taco Tuesday. And if you brought in a mortgage application, you got a taco. So people found their strengths that way, right? Laura, she enables people, right? She gives them tasks so they can find their strong suit as well. So I thought that was great. People really coming into their own and being enabled to do so. In my world, I tend to be that person that I'm the cheerleader. I lift people up. So if I see somebody that's down and or being brought down by maybe somebody else, I'm going to level that playing field real fast.
I love it. Excellent, excellent. Anyone want to add to? I love to say yes ands. Does anyone want to add to what Margarita had just shared? All right. Thank you so much. Show me some reactions. Let her know how awesome she is. Okay, awesome, awesome. Room number two. Is it Ariane? Am I saying that correctly? Please fix me.
That's okay. No fixing necessary. Arian, close.
Ariane, excellent, excellent. And in your area was also Lisa and Michelle. Please begin.
Yes, that's correct. So we actually took a little bit of a different thing from the ask you had, more so like getting on calls where maybe we were meeting with new teams or new individuals, and maybe there was a lack of communication. Sometimes that's happened to all of us, right? And so what we talked about was one of the things I shared in my experience was maybe getting on a call, not having sight on the direction of who would be on the call or what the topic would be. And
Uh-oh.
I think she has
everybody
brain
felt
freeze.
heard and got to share input, and also that dead silence at the beginning. Oh, did I freeze up?
You did. So when you're on the call, what came after that, please?
Okay, let me go back. Sorry. So like getting on a call and not having insight on what the call maybe would be about. This happens quite often to so many of us, right? Or knowing the individual players in the call, maybe it's a new team or an ask. And so being able to offer the opportunity for everybody to introduce themselves and speak, and then also the dead silence at the beginning. It happens quite often in new organizations or organizations that are trying to build teams. I feel like it's something that I encounter quite a bit in a lot of space and tech. Everybody's trying to find their own place. So not being afraid to also step up to be that person to kind of give energy to the call, but also be respectful of others. And so the other gals actually shared the same sentiments. One of them was having some tech issues. So I just thought I would share that from our team.
I'm happy you did. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it so much, so much. And we have room number 3. That was Farrell. I think he just popped off. We have
I got to drop. So, but thanks.
No, thank you. Who is our spokesperson? Yes, please.
Let me speak from room number 3, although I did not say one word, which is a big surprise. But anyway, so my name is Winifred. I'm the head of Witty Africa. So let me first introduce myself. Clarity is kind. We did not remember what we were supposed to be talking about. So maybe next time it would have been good for you to put a question on the chat. So I believe we really spent some time catching up, David and I and the other people, just to kind of locate what we're about. And then somebody talked about discrimination. How do we deal with discrimination when we come into the group? I can't remember her name now. And she just shared her personal experience. We didn't have enough time to talk about
Sharon.
Sharon talked about the problem, but she did not talk about the solution. So I'm not too sure what your question was and what we were supposed to be talking about. So
that's okay.
So clarity is kind. So she talked about discrimination, and we didn't get to a solution before the room was closed.
Understood. Well, I thank you so very, very much for that. And one of the things is actually tied to what you had just shared. We have strong personalities, right? And sometimes with those strong personalities, there's a focus. And we want to make sure that we aren't only thinking about where we are, but also the other items that could be added in. Yes, please, Sharon. Yes, please.
Yes, I would like to share something about that, the discrimination, groupism, or the prejudice that like kind of interferes with the team working smoothly. So I would like to tell the person who is sensible enough to understand that can like take up the role. Doesn't mean that one leader should bring about the whole team together. So I think it's the responsibility of each and every team member, whoever is in that, and the person who identifies that can just encourage everyone to just work towards the common objective and goal of the project. So that would make a great difference, and that can be a great solution. I believe that.
I absolutely agree with that. In fact, we are the examples of it, right? So if I show up in a particular way, very much to what you had just said, I need to actively listen. And if other people see me doing that, then I'm leading the way for them to do that also. When I hear someone that is experiencing discrimination, I need to be empathetic when that happens also, right? Everything that we are doing is teaching other people how to treat us all day, every day, okay? What I will also say is that when I do hear it, am I ready to do something about it? Sometimes we can't put vague conversations out there. We have to be more direct. So we also want to feel comfortable being assertive when it's applicable to be that. And then how can we fix it? Okay. There are ways that we are able to fix it. Okay. We are going to wrap things up with actually feeling comfortable talking about the not so fun things. Your job is to harness the opposing forces, not make sure that they don't happen. I just need to make sure that when they do happen, I am able and feel comfortable speaking about it when it does come up. Okay. That there are going to be trade-offs. We can't, what I'm sure someone's parent has said, you can't get everything that you want. Okay. So if we're not able to get everything that we want, what would be the main thing that you need to have? Okay. And we'll make sure that we have that. Okay. So what I would love for you to do is type into the chat, what is the main thing that you got out of us being together today? Please type that into the chat. I'm sure myself and Woody would love to see that. Okay. So please feel comfortable doing that. And if anyone wants to learn a little bit more about what I do, I wanted to make sure that you had access to that as well. Please type into the chat your email address if you did want something else from me, or you are able to take down my email address and I'll make sure that I provide you with ways to get in contact with me and other classes that I may be offering. But I'm going to hand this back over to Marianne. Thank you so much, so much. Thank you so much for everyone coming.
Thank you so much. We really enjoyed it. Wealth of knowledge, as always. great personality that shows up. We couldn't have asked for anyone better to tell us about this topic. So thanks everyone for joining. If you'd like, please, before you leave, feel free to put in the chat your LinkedIn so that we can all connect to each other. You're more than welcome to do that. Of course, as Veronica said, Winifred's on my mind because it's true that it's hard for her to come into a group and be very quiet. So I was very looking forward to hearing from her. But definitely put your questions in the chat, your emails, and truly Veronica is just phenomenal. So feel free to get to know her on a personal level. She's great, and we look forward to having you guys at all the Florida events, whether it's Tampa Bay or elsewhere. Really hope you all can join us in person and virtual, as we always have done. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.